अनन्तः प्रथमं रूपं लक्ष्मणश्च ततः परः बलभद्रं तृतीयस्तु कलौ रामानुजस्मृतः नमः पन्नगनद्धाय वैकुण्ठवशवर्तिने श्रुतिसिन्धुसुधोत्पाद मन्दराय गरुत्मते यत्र यत्र रघुनाथ कीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं भाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकम्. We are all assembled here today to relish the topic, the triumphant trio. The triumphant trio. The three supremely successful bhaktas of Bhagavan. Or should I say, the three successful supreme bhaktas of Bhagavan. The triumphant trio. Garuda, Adisesha, Hanumanta, who are the very embodiments of abundant bhakti, who have demonstrated, as our Shastras teach, that to be triumphant, one has to be a supreme servant of Bhagavan. To be triumphant, one has to be a supreme servant of Bhagavan. In today's world, success is defined in terms of 3 P's: possessions, positions, and power. When life becomes a mad race and a chase of these 3 P's, there can be no peace. And forget about success, only successful failures ensue. Most often, we miss out the most important goal in life. In the process of counting our possessions, we miss out on counting the most important person in our lives. Duryodhana missed to count the most important person on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And we all know what was the result. We too are like Duryodhana. We focus on everything else in life other than Krishna. Everything else is a priority other than Krishna. Material things are necessary, but they are not the only necessity. When we falsely diagnose the root cause of all the problems, it's even more dangerous than not diagnosing. False diagnosis is concluding that we need more material things to be happy and to be successful. As long as our spiritual needs are not fulfilled, one will remain unhappy. One will remain incomplete. We are all like a fish which needs water. The Atman needs to stay connected with Krishna. The Atman needs Krishna. It needs to stay connected with Paramatma. Our life is a journey which starts with a V and ends with a V. For a majority, this journey of V to V turns out to be Vishada to Vinasha. Vishada, sorrow because of taking birth, ending up with Vinasha, destruction, which is continuing to be in samsara. Vishada to Vinasha. This is what the Gita calls, such a journey is a journey of a Vimudha. And such a journey is Viphala, futile. What is success in life? Success in life is realization of one's true nature, one's relationship with Bhagavan, and also realizing that life is an opportunity given for only one purpose, for God attainment. The triumphant trio teaches us the true purpose of life. Garuda, Adisesha, Hanumanta teach us one very important lesson. Servitude ensures certitude of success, which is infinitude of bliss. If there is one word that connects all the three, that is servitude. Dasatva. To be the servant of the universal master. We are very uncomfortable to be servants. No one wants to be a servant. All of us want to be masters. But whether we like it or not, whether we acknowledge it or not, whether we realize it or not, we are all servants. Servants of our own possessions, servants of our own positions, servants of our own sense organs, servants of our own habits. We are all servants of this world. Garuda, Adisesha, and Hanumanta teach us how to be true to our own nature. And our nature is servitude, dasatva, to Bhagavan. They teach us that successful life is also a journey from V to V. From Vijaya to Vimukti. From Vijaya, from victory, because the very human birth is a victory. It cannot be a Vishada, because one recognizes the opportunity given, and therefore it is Vijaya. From Vijaya to Vimukti, to liberation. The life lessons taught by these three bhaktas, supreme bhaktas, can transform our life and turn it into a vehicle for liberation. And therefore, let us begin this journey by relishing the glory of the most venerated vehicle, Garuda. Suparnosi Garutman Trivritte Shiraha Gayatram Chakshuhu Stoma Atma Samate Tanuhu Vamadevyam Brihat Ratantare Pakshau Yajna Yajniyam Pucham Chandam Siyangani Dishniyas Sapaha Yajum Shinama. The Taitriya Samhita beautifully captures the glory of Garuda. Garutman is Vedatma. His very body is made of the Vedas. Trivritte Shiraha. His head, the Trivrit, the hymns of the Vedas called Trivrit, forms his head. Gayatram Chakshuhu. The mighty Gayatri is his very eyes. Stoma Atma. Stoma, the hymns of praise of the Vedas, are his very self. Stoma Atma. Samate Tanuhu. Samaveda forms his body. Vamadevyam Brihat Ratantare Pakshau. Brihat Sama, Ratantara Sama, Vamadevyam. 3 categories of Samaveda which extol Bhagavan Vishnu. They form his wings. When Garuda flaps his wings, one can listen to the glorious Samagana. Garuda's very movement produces Vedic chants. Yajna is his tail, and his very name is Yajus. In fact, Garudmanta is the only bird or animal to have been given such a high pedestal in the Vedas. Garudamakila Veda Nidadirudam Vishatpidano Kantita Kunta Vaikunta Piti Krita Skandhamede Swanida Gatiprita Rudra Supiti Stanabhoga Gaudopaguda Spurat Kantakavrata Vedavyata Vepamanat Vidipradhipakalpa Vishparyavana Spathavaticaratna Rochistata Rajini Rajitam Kanti Kallolini Rajitam. The Garuda Dandaka celebrates the glory of Garudmanta. The Vedanta Desikas Garuda Dandaka glorifies Garuda. Garuda has the Vedas as his cage. He is seated on the Vedas, it says. And his master is none other than the Parabrahman, Sriman Narayana, who also is the protector of this universe, who reaches out to all his bhaktas and ensures that all the obstacles are removed, more so when he has Garuda as his Vahana to reach out when called for. And Garuda never returns back home to his consorts Rudra and Sukirti without fulfilling his mission of serving his master. And it seems when all the snakes that cover the glorious body of Garuda overcome with fear, when they raise their hoods, the Ratnas positioned on the hoods of the snake emanate brilliant red rays, which happen to be like the Mangala Harati shown to Garuda, recognizing his service excellence. Garuda also took Avatara as the son of Vinata and Kashyapa, owing to a bet that Vinata lost to Kadru. Vinata became Kadru's slave, and Kadru came up with only one ask for releasing her, an impossible ask of bringing Amrita from Svarga. And Garuda, in order to fulfill the mission of relieving his mother from slavery, took up this impossible mission, and in that process conquered Indra. He brought Amrita all the way from Svarga and handed over Amrita to Kadru, and thus released his mother Vinata. That is why he is called Vainatheya, son of Vinata. Bhagavan Vishnu was pleased with Garuda, not just for fulfilling this impossible mission. More importantly, Garuda, while in possession of Amrita, was not tempted to taste it. While in possession of Amrita, Garuda had no temptation whatsoever to taste it, recognizing that noble character of Garuda. Bhagavan, pleased with him, made him his eternal Vahana, his vehicle. Garuda also took the avatara as Sankarshana out of the Vyuha forms of Bhagavan. Garuda also divided himself into 5 forms: Satya, Suparna, Garuda, Takshya, Vihageshwara, and matched those 5 forms with 5 pranas. Pancha pranas are governed by Garuda: Prana, Apana, Samana, Udhana, Vyana. Each prana is governed by one form of Garuda: Satya, Suparna, Garuda, Takshya, Vihageshwara. And therefore, our Shastras glorify that there is none who can match his valor, who can match his strength, who can match his service to Bhagavan. Namah Pannaganadhaya Vaikunta Vashavarthine Shruti Sindhu Sudhotpada Mandaraya Garutmate. Shruti Sindhu Sudhotpada Mandaraya Garutmate. Just like how Mount Mandara churned the Kshirabdi in order to secure Amrita, Garuda also churns all the Vedas in order to secure Brahma Vidya. And therefore, by worshipping Garuda, we too can secure Brahma Vidya. And what is the essence of Brahma Vidya? The essence of Brahma Vidya is realizing that Bhagavan is Seshi and all of us are his Seshas. Seshatva is the very essence of all Brahma Vidya. And how else can we learn Seshatva? How else? The only way is to relish the glories of Adisesha, the one who is the very embodiment, the very personification of Seshatva. Anantah pratamam rupam Lakshmanascha tatah paraha Balabhadram tritiyastu kalau Ramanuja. He who is Ananta, took birth as Lakshmana, was Lakshmana in Treta Yuga, and Balarama in Dwapara Yuga incarnated as Ramanuja in Kali Yuga. What is the meaning of Sesha? The word Sesha is so very profound, multi-dimensional. Sesha can mean residue. Why are snakes called Sesha? Sesha can mean residue, that which has no remains, that which remains after everything else. Snakes have the property of casting off their skin. So therefore, snakes are called Sesha, denoting their quality of shedding their skins. So what remains after shedding the skin is a Sesha. That is why snakes are called Sesha, a residue. All our actions is like Sesha. They leave behind a residue. Our karmas, all our karmas, the actions that we do are like Sesha. They leave behind a residue, which is karma phala, karma vasana. When our actions are transformed to be Adisesha like, they become liberating in nature. Sesha, Seshatva also means servitude. In order to give us the definition of Seshatva, Adisesha once again incarnated as Swami Ramanuja in Kali Yuga. Bhashyakara defines Seshatva: Paragata Atishaya Adhana Ichchaya Upadeyattvameva yasya swarupam saseshaha paraseshihi. Sesha, Seshi. Who is Sesha? Who is Seshi? Sesha is that which is solely a utility, has no other purpose. A Sesha is one which is of only use. Its only purpose to be of use to its master, the Seshi. Seshatva, therefore, is servitude. The whole purpose of Sesha is to be a utility to its owner, the master, the Seshi. Describing the glories of Adisesha, the illustrious Yamunacharya in Stotra Ratna declares, Taya sahasina mananta bhogini prakrishta vijnana balaika dhamani phanamani vrata mayukha mandala prakasha manodara divya dhamani. A very profound shloka. Taya sahasina mananta bhogini. Narayana, along with Shri, is ensconced on his couch in Sri Vaikuntha. He is seated on Adisesha. Ananta Bhogini. Adisesha is his couch on which he is comfortably seated in Sri Vaikuntha. Taya sahasina ananta bhogini prakrishta vijnana balaika dhamani. Prakrishta, that supreme Adisesha, vijnana balaika dhamani. He is the repository of vijnana and bala. His vijnana is his seshatva jnana, is jnana of servitude, always rooted in the jnana of servitude. Balaika dhamani. Also, he is known for supreme strength. After all, he is not only soft as a couch, soft and comfortable. Ananta Bhogini is soft and comfortable when it comes to acting as a couch. At the same time, Adisesha, Vijnana Balaika Dhamani. He is also strong and firm, supporting the Sarvadhara. Bhagavan is Sarvadhara. He is the supporter of everything, and he is supported by the Adisesha, who acts as his couch in Sri Vaikuntha. Taya sahasina mananta bhogini prakrishta vijnana balaika dhamani phanamani vrata mayukha mandala prakasha manodara divya dhamani. Divya dhamani, Sri Vaikuntha is ever illuminated, and such an illuminated place is even more illumined by the Ratnas positioned on the multi-hooded Adisesha. Interestingly, both the supreme servant and his master share many things common. Both are called Ananta. Bhagavan is called Ananta, and his Prathama Kinkara is also called Ananta. Bhagavan is Ananta. Shastras declare Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. He is Ananta. He is Ananta because he is endowed with infinite Kalyana Gunas, infinite auspicious qualities. His Kinkara is also Ananta because he engages in innumerable acts of service to Bhagavan. So therefore, Bhagavan, Narayana is Ananta, Adisesha is also called Ananta. Both of them are also called Ramanuja, interestingly. In Treta Yuga, when Bhagavan took the avatara of Rama, Adisesha took the avatara of Lakshmana, and therefore Adisesha is called Rama Anuja, Rama's Anuja. Lakshmana is Rama's Anuja. He's Ramanuja. In Dwapara Yuga, Bhagavan took the avatar of Krishna and Adisesha took the avatar of his elder brother, Balarama. So Krishna is also Ramanuja. Rama's Anuja, Krishna is Balarama's Anuja, therefore he is also Ramanuja. Both of them are therefore called Ananta and also Ramanuja. Both of them, the Shastras declare, have thousands of heads. Bhagavan is Sahasra Sirsha Purusha. And Ananta, possibly in order to provide a suitable canopy to this Sahasra Sirsha Purusha, Adisesha is also endowed with Sahasra, thousands of hoods. And incidentally, both of them take avatars together all the time. Now, why is Adisesha called Sesha? Why is Ananta called Sesha? Yamunacharya gives us a beautiful answer in the Stotra Ratna. He says, Nivasa Sayyasana Padukamshuka Upadhana Varshatapa Varanadivihi Sharira Bhedaistava Seshatam Gataihi Yathochitam Sesha Itirite Janaihi. Why is he called Sesha? Sharira Bhedaistava Seshatam Gataihi. He takes several forms, it seems. Whatever form Bhagavan takes, Adisesha takes an appropriate form in order to serve Bhagavan. Nivasha Sayyasana Padukam Shuka. Nivasha. Adisesha takes the form, Ananta takes the form of Nivasa, the abode. Wherever Bhagavan, every temple is the form of Adisesha. Nivasha Sayya, his divine bed. Asana is divine couch. Paduka is divine footwear, footrest. Amshuka is divine pitambara. Upadhana is divine pillows. Varshatapa Varanadibihi, his umbrella to protect him from heat and cold and rains. Thus, whatever form Bhagavan needs, Adisesha, Ananta takes an appropriate form and serves him. Yathochitam Sesha Itirite Janaihi. Therefore, that is the reason why he is called Sesha. Whatever forms Bhagavan takes, Adisesha assumes an appropriate form and serves his master. In Sri Vaikuntha, Bhagavan has the form of Paravasudeva. The Dhyana Shloka of Ashtakshara Mantra describes the Paravasudeva as seen by all the Nitya Suris in Sri Vaikuntha. Savyam Padam Prasarya Shrita Duritaharam Dakshinam Kunchayitva Janunyadaya Savyetram Itarabhujam Nagabhoge Nidhaya. So we have to visualize this beauty, this glorious scene of Sri Vaikuntha. The way the Nitya Suris have the vision of Bhagavan. The way Bhagavan is seated is exceedingly captivating, with his left leg stretched and the right one slightly bent, leaning back regally, with one of his lower hands gently placed on his knees, and the other hand is lovingly placed on his eternal Sesha. Itarabhujam Nagabhoge Nidhaya. What is important to note here is his hand stays firmly holding on to his beloved Dasa. Always. His hand is gently holding on to his Dasa all the time. When one holds on, mentally holds on to Krishna all the time, it is assured that he shall hold on. It is not anymore necessary for the Dasa to hold on to Bhagavan. The Bhagavan holds on to the Dasa. This is a reassuring message that our Shastras give. Therefore, in Sri Vaikuntha, in order to support Sarvadhara Paravasudeva, Adisesha takes the form of the divine couch. In his Vyuha form on Kshirabdi, Bhagavan reclines on the Adisesha. The Adisesha becomes his divine bed. During his Vibhava avataras, as Bhagavan takes avataras and descends, Adisesha also is always inseparable, always descends along with Bhagavan, taking several forms. During Rama avatara, Narayana, when he incarnated as Rama, Adisesha incarnated as Lakshmana. Lakshmana, Kainkarya Lakshana Lakshita Lakshmanaha Sarvapriyakaraha Tasya Ramasya Api Sharirataha Lakshmano Lakshmi Sampannaha Bahiprana Ivaparaha. Valmiki writes, Lakshmanaha Lakshmi Sampannaha. Lakshmi Sampanna. He is endowed with the wealth of Kainkarya Lakshmi. Lakshmanaha Lakshmi Sampannaha Bahiprana Ivaparaha. Bahiprana. Lakshmana, the Adisesha avatara, was the very prana of Rama. This is what Krishna declares in the Gita. Udara sarvayevaite jnanita atmaivamevitam astitassahi yuktanam mamevam anuttamam gatim, he says. Udara, he calls his bhaktas udharas, those who are generous in their love and affection towards Bhagavan, who give more than they take. They are udharas. Udara sarvayevaite jnanitu atmaiva matam astitassahi yuktatma mameva anuttamam gatim. They are the ones who are very dear to me. I consider them my very own self, declares Krishna. Thus, Adisesha is considered as the very self of Bhagavan. Lakshmana is the very prana of Rama. And Lakshmana convinces Rama. When Rama and Sita decide to leave for Vanavasa, renouncing everything, Lakshmana convinces Rama. Lakshmana declares, Bhabamstu saha vaidehi girisanushu ramsyate aham sarvam karishyami. Aham sarvam karishyami jagrata swapataschata. What a profound assurance. He's saying, hey Bhagavan, hey Rama, when you and Sita take delight in the mountain ridges during Vanavasa, you need not be worried about your welfare. Aham sarvam karishyami jagrata swapataschate. It seems Lakshmana did not sleep for 14 years throughout the Vanavasa, completely dedicating himself to serve Rama and Sita. Aham sarvam karishyami. Lakshmana, that is why he is Lakshmi Sampanna, Kainkarya Lakshmi he has. You know, the ideal of a Jivatma is demonstrated by Lakshmana to be a supreme servant to Bhagavan, to the Paramatma. In Krishna Avatara, when Bhagavan took the avatara of Krishna, Adisesha took the avatar of Balarama in order to keep a watchful and protective eye on this ever mischievous, playful Krishna. Also, who can ever forget that night when there were torrential rains, that glorious night when Bhagavan took birth as Krishna. Adisesha provided a protective canopy to the just born Krishna. Who can forget that glorious sight, that night when Adisesha, out of Vatsalya, became Rakshaka for the Rakshaka. Followed Vasudeva all throughout, from Mathura all the way, protecting Bhagavan as a protective canopy, protecting him from the torrential rains. Thus we see Adisesha in all the avatars. He is there in one form or the other, Even during Nrisimhavatara, we may wonder, did Adisesha play a role? Even during Nrisimhavatara, Adisesha was present as his glorious padukas. Even today, when we go to Ahobila Kshetra, we can see the glorious padukas of Bhagavan, of Malola Nrisimha, represented by Adisesha. So every avatara, Adisesha takes one form of the other, accompanies Bhagavan to continue his service to him. Adisesha also incarnated as son of Kashyapa and Kadru, the eldest son of the Nagas. But he was disgusted with the conduct of the Nagas, who were cruel by nature. Overcome with disgust, he decided to leave them. And he went on and meditated in various places. Gandhamadana Parvata, Badrikashrama, Pushkara, Gokarna. He visited several places and was meditating, and he lived only on air. And finally, when Brahma approached him and asked and gave him a boon, all that he asked for was only one thing. He only wanted a mind that can be mastered so that it can be filled with nothing other than Narayana. And this avatara of Adisesha, as one amongst the Nagas, is for only one purpose. Irrespective of one's birth, anyone can qualify for moksha. Anyone can qualify for the path of bhakti. Now that is what Krishna also says in the Gita. Mam hi partha vipashritra episyuhu papayonayaha striyo vaishyas tata shudraha etepi yanti param gatim. It does not matter. He gives 4 different categories. A category of those who are not mandated to study and practice Vedas, Stri in Kali Yuga. Those who have no capability, no access to the Vedas, the Vaishyas and Shudras. And even those who are sinful by nature, who have excess of Papa Karma. Krishna assures that everyone, the doors of Vaikuntha are open for everyone. He even goes to the extent of saying, even a sinner can transform and become a saint. The pathway of bhakti is open to one and all. Reform, transform, and perform. That's the message. Perform bhakti. Life is an opportunity given for reformation and transformation. And such is Bhagavan's assurance. And when we contemplate on this assurance of Bhagavan, we are reminded of the very embodiment of Bhagavan's assurance. We are reminded of the supreme Bhakta, Hanuman, who comes to our mind reassuringly as the very personification of Bhagavan's assurance. Koshpadi Kritavarasham, Masaki Kritarakshasam, Ramayana Mahamala Ratnam Vande Anilatmajam. Glorious Bhakta, Anjaneya. Koshpadi Kritavarasham, Masaki Kritarakshasam. It seems the way Hanumanta crossed over the ocean, he made the ocean seem like water filled in the footprint of a calf. Masaki Krita Rakshasam. The way he demolished the Rakshasas, he made them to seem like mosquitoes. Ramayana Mahamala, he is the crest jewel. He is the real hero of Ramayana. Ramayana Mahamala Ratnam Vande Anilatmajam. The great Bhakta Tulsidas celebrates Hanuman in the popular Hanuman Chalisa. Jaya Hanumana Jnana Guna Sagara Jaya Kapisha Tihuloka Ujagara Ramaduta Atulita Baladama Anjani Putra Pavana Sutanama Mahabhira Vikrama Bajarangi Kumadinivara Sumatike Sangi Kanchana Varana Viraja Suesha, Kanana Gundala Kunchita Kesha. Jaya Hanuman Jnana Gunasagara. Hanuman is Jnana Gunasagara. He is an ocean. He is an ocean of Jnana, not ordinary Jnana. He is an ocean of Jnana that has transformed, that has blossomed, that has ripened into Bhakti. Bhakti Rupapanna Jnana. He is an ocean of Bhakti Rupapanna Jnana. Jaya Hanumana Jnana Gunasagara. He is an ocean of Kalyana Gunas. Krishna talks about the gunas to be cultivated by a bhakta. Amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, kshantirajjavam, acharyopasanam, shaucham, sthiryam, atmavinigraha, indriyarteshu vairagyam, anahankarameva janma mrityu jaravyadi dukkha doshana darshanam. Asakti anabhishvangah putradara grihadishu nityam cha chamachitpatvam ishtanishto prapattishu. Maichananya yogena bhakti ravya vicharini vivikta desha sevitvam aratir jana samsati. Adhyatma yoga nityatvam tattva darshanam etat jnanam idam proktam ajnanam yadatonyatha. 20 values that need to be cultivated. Hanuman, if we need to find one who is the repository of all this and even more, humility, unpretentiousness, non-hurting, forbearance, rectitude, service to Acharya, inner and outer purity, steadfastness, self-discipline, mind mastery, dispassion towards sense objects, absence of self-importance, constant reflection on the limitations of birth, death, aging, sickness, pain, absence of possessory attitude, absence of obsession and clinging to property, even-mindedness, unswerving, unflinching devotion, value for quietude, pursuit of reality, commitment to the study of Shastras. Who else can be a better example as a repository of all these Kalyana Gunas? That is why Tulsidas hails him as Jaya Hanumana Jnana Gunasagara, Jaya Kapisha Tihuloka Ujagara, he says. Surprisingly, Tulsidas calls Hanuman Kapisha, Kapi Isha, who is the king of Kapis, the ruler of Kapis. How can Hanuman be the ruler of Kapis when it should be Sugriva? But for Tulsidas, Hanuman is Kapisha. Kam Brahma Sukham Pibhati Kapihi. The drinker of Brahma Sukha, Brahmananda, is Kapi. So therefore, Hanuman is the ruler of such Kapis. He is not one who is after a throne made up of metal and wood, which will perish sooner or later. But he is firmly established on the throne of those who are drinkers of Brahma Sukha. Kam Brahma Sukham Pibhati Kapi. Jaya Kapisha Tihuloka Ujagar. That such is his glory. His glory is, he is in the hearts of everyone because he is the very embodiment of the drinker of Brahmananda, the very embodiment of Bhakti. Ramaduta Atulita Baladhama. His glory is because not because he's a leader, because he's a servant. He's a servant leader. We pray to him because he is Ramaduta, because he is a servant of Rama. That is his glory. That is his greatness. Atulita Baladhama. What kind of strength Hanuman has? Balam Balavatam Chaham Kama Raga Vivarjitam. Krishna in the Gita says, know that I am the strength in those who are devoid of Kama and Raga. When one is devoid of Kama, selfish desires, and Raga, of attachments, then Bhagavan himself manifests as supreme strength in those. And Rama manifests as strength in Bhagavan. Ramaduta. Because he is Ramaduta, he is Atulita Baladhama. Because he is Ramaduta, he has supreme strength. Anjaniputra Pavanasutanama. He is son of Anjana, he is also Pavanaputra. Incidentally, Tulsidas has a great liking for this Nama of Hanuman, Pavanaputra, Vayuputra. Why? Because Vayu keeps serving everyone 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and it remains invisible. It doesn't hanker for rewards or recognition. It keeps serving. That is the hallmark of a true servant. No hankering for rewards or recognition. Even within our body, all the sense organs serve the body, but they keep taking rest sometime or the other, but not pranavayu. We do not want pranavayu to take rest. That would be permanent rest. Therefore, Pavana Vayu is known for supreme service without wanting any recognition. Therefore, Pavanaputra. That Nama has that significance. Therefore, Tulsidas has a great liking for this Nama, Pavanaputra, Anjaniputra, Pavanasutanama, Mahabira Vikrama Vajarangi. He is not just Vidyavira, Danavira, Shuravira, Tyagavira, Dharmavira, Tyagavira. He is all rolled into one. That is why he is Mahavira. Mahavira Vikrama Vajarangi, Kumati Nivara Sumati Kesangi. Kumati is a weak intellect, an intellect which is contaminated by selfish desires, is Kumati. Sumati is a strong intellect, which is devoid, which is not contaminated, which is not corrupted. Kumati Nivara Sumati Kesangi, the one who has discarded everything which is evil, everything which is selfish, and one who has a strong intellect. Now, intelligence means to know what to do when we don't know what to do. I'm not trying to confuse here. Intelligence means to know what to do when we really don't know what to do. That is true intelligence. What do I mean by that? Many a times, we all depend on our intelligence to take decisions all the time. But there could come times when our intelligence, when we are paralyzed, difficult situations where we are stuck, not knowing what to do. It is during those times that true intelligence to come into play. And that true intelligence is to know what to do when we do not know what to do. Knowing what to do is surrendering to Bhagavan. And that is exactly what Hanuman teaches us. Hanuman looks at Sugriva and he says, Hey Sugriva, Buddhi Vijnana Sampanna Ingitaihi Sarvamachara Nahi Abuddhim Gato Raja Sarvabhutani Shastihi, he says. Buddhi Vijnana Sampanna. You have to have a firm intellect and wisdom, Hey Sugriva. And you have to avoid abuddhi. You have to avoid abuddhi. So here, abuddhi is kumati, buddhi vijnana sampanna is sumati. You need to cultivate sumati and you need to discard kumati, He Sugriva, Hanuman says. So intelligence in that context of his discussion with Sugriva means to understand how the mind makes us misunderstand. Because Sugriva was in a state, he was misunderstanding everything. He was looking at Rama and Lakshmana approaching them and he was worried, he was in fear. That is the reason why Hanuman gives him all the assurance. Use your intelligence, use your intellect properly, He Sugriva. Such is the glory of Hanuman. Now this triumphant trio teaches us many life lessons. When we study their life and times, when we study the Shastras and we see what they stood for, we learn several life lessons from them. What are the life lessons that these triumphant trio can teach us? They teach us the very ABCDs of success. The very ABCDs of success. A, attitude of servitude. B, bhakti. C, courage, fearlessness. D, determination, firmness of purpose. E, emotional intelligence. F, faith. We can go on, but let us look at some of these key important lessons that Garuda, Adisesha, and Hanumanta teach us, which we can implement in our day-to-day lives. The very first lesson that we can learn from them is the lesson A, attitude of servitude. The very formula for success is a 5-letter word, serve, S-E-R-V-E. This is what these 3 great bhaktas teach us. This 5-letter word, simple 5-letter word, is the mantra for success, S-E-R-V-E, serve. What is important here is the positioning of the letter R in the word serve. The letter R stands for raga, attachment. When one is attached to the world, then this R gets misplaced. And when this R gets misplaced, serve becomes seva, S-E-V-E-R. By attaching to the world too much, we detach from Krishna. We sever our connection with him. We cut our association with him. And in that process, our ego also starts to grow, and the E gets added to seva, and seva becomes sivya, and that is samsara. So therefore, we need to necessarily scramble seva, unscramble seva. When we unscramble it, we get verse, V-E-R-S-E, which is nothing but Shabda, the Shastras, which teaches how we reorient and redirect our lives. Once again, to start serving Bhagavan. So therefore, the very first lesson that these 3 bhaktas teach us is the attitude of servitude. Cultivating the willpower to say no, to be servants of our own habits, servants of our own addictions. It is a choice that we need to make. Do we want to be servants, or do we want to be servant leaders? The difference is when we are serving our senses, when the Atman surrenders to Achit. When the Atman surrenders to Achit, it is samsara. When the Atman surrenders to Paramatma, then it gets on to the pathway of moksha. When we are servants of our own senses, we are only servants. But when we become leader of our senses and become servant of Bhagavan, we become servant leaders. It is about cultivating that willpower to say no, to be servants of our own senses, our own habits, our own addictions. To say no, to develop that want power. With the want power, wanting Bhagavan more than anything else, which will strengthen our willpower. 3 qualities that constitute the attitude of servitude. There are 3 important qualities. And we get to know this through the Adisesha Avatara Lakshmana. When Rama requested Lakshmana to construct a Parnashala, Lakshmana was so skillful. He immediately went about completely dedicating his time and energy to building the Parnashala for Rama and Sita. And naturally, the outcome was a glorious Parnashala. Rama himself was awestruck looking at Lakshmana's work. Rama embraces Lakshmana. He embraces Lakshmana. He has no words to speak. He embraces Lakshmana and he says, Bhavajnena Kritajnena Dharmajnena cha Lakshmana Tvaya Putrena Dharmatma Samvrita Pitamama. Very touching words that Rama uses here. He looks at Lakshmana. He says, hey Lakshmana, you are Bhavajna, you are Kritajna, you are Dharmajna. Bhavajnena Kritajnena Dharmajnena cha Lakshmana Tvaya Putrena Dharmatma na Samvrita Pitamama. Hey Lakshmana, today I have realized I have not lost my father. Dasharatha is not lost. He's very much here with me. My Pita is not gone. He's very much here with me in your form, hey Lakshmana. How blessed am I to have somebody like you who are taking care of every need of mine, just like how a doting father would take care of the needs of a child. Hey Lakshmana, you are Bhavajnaha, you are Kritajnaha, you are Dharmajnaha. Three qualities that constitute the attitude of servitude. Bhavajnaha. Rama says, hey Lakshmana, you are Bhavajnaha because you know my feelings. Therefore, a dasa should necessarily know the feelings of his master. That's a primary, foremost quality of dasatva, being a bhavajna. To give importance to the feelings of his master. Kritajnaha, skillful, competence. Lakshmana demonstrated a skill, unparalleled skill in building the Parnashala all alone, without any help. Demonstrating the fact that all of us are bestowed with various abilities, various talents. Each and every one has a talent. Bhagavan ensures that each and every one of us are bestowed with an ability, with a very unique ability. But how we put to use that ability is what is important. A Kritajnaha, he knows that his abilities have to be rooted, his ability has to be rooted in authenticity. Authenticity of knowing his true nature, and has to be put to use for only one purpose, and that is to serve Bhagavan. The talent is given by Bhagavan to us, and the only way to put it to use it in the process of serving him, as Adisesha Avatara Lakshmana demonstrates. Therefore, Rama calls him Kritajna, Bhavajnena, Kritajnena, Dharmajnena. He says, you are Dharmajnaha. Lakshmana, you know your dharma. You know your dharma. Your dharma is to serve. The dharma of a jivatma is seshatva, to serve, to be a utility to the master, the Seshi, Bhagavan. In a life rooted in servitude, there is no bhukti. What is bhukti? Selfishness, greed, weakness for sensual pleasures. In a life rooted in servitude, there is no bhukti. Therefore, success in life is not a product of bhukti, but it is a byproduct of bhakti. And our second life lesson is life lesson B, bhakti. Tesham jnani nityayuktaha ekabhaktir visishyate priyo hi jnaninotyartam aham sacha mama priyaha. Krishna declares, who is real bhakta? Who is the real bhakta? Tesham jnani nityayuktaha ekabhaktir visishyate. He is nityayuktaha, one who is ever connected with Bhagavan all the time. He stays connected with him all the time. Ekabhakti. Ekabhakti, completely focused, dedicated only to Bhagavan. He is the only goal. He is a true bhakta, and he says, Priyo hi jnaninotyartam aham sacha mama priyaha. I am dear to him, but more importantly, Arjuna, he is dear to me, Krishna says. Bhakti is nothing but alignment to Bhagavan. Simply put, bhakti is the total alignment to Bhagavan. When the mind is filled with Narayana, there can be no room for any nuisance or nonsense in his presence. Problems are like shadows. Problems are like shadows. They cannot be avoided. But for a bhakta, the focus is on the light ahead and not on the shadow. The focus is, the vision is fixed on the light ahead and the path shown. And this is what is demonstrated by Garuda, Hanuman, Adisesha. To fix the vision on the light of Narayana and take the path shown by that light. To such a supreme bhakta, the impossible becomes possible. The inaccessible becomes accessible. All the inimical forces are destroyed. Life becomes magical. Apara paravara parika parivrita davadahar javana pavana bhava kavivara parishringa bhavita sarvasya dana. When Rama hugged Hanuman, and gave him Anguliya, Hanuman prostrated, took the Anguliya, took the ring, and as he got ready to fly, that bhakti alone, that bhakti that Hanuman had alone was enough to get magical things happen. Hanuman not only ended up discovering Sita, he also ended up destroying, setting Lanka on fire, destroying several Rakshasas. Bhakti makes inaccessible things accessible. Bhakti makes the impossible possible. Now, even in our day-to-day lives, bhakti can help in every walk of our life. Bhakti brings both humility and ambition together. One can be humbly ambitious. May seem paradoxical. Humbly ambitious. How is that possible? Hanuman shows us the way. When we visualize Hanuman always is in Anjali Mudra. Yatra yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam tatra tatra Kritamastakanjalim Bhashpavari Paripurnalochanam Marutim Namata Rakshasam. Always in Anjali Mudra, folded hands. The great bhakta always demonstrating utmost humility. But it is also important to notice the same folded hands also is holding on to a mace. The mace with which he carries out heroic deeds. Bhakti, therefore, automatically brings Shakti. And Hanuman demonstrates this to us. With Bhakti, Shakti comes automatically. Therefore, Bhakti can do wonders in all walks of life. It can do wonders at work. It can do wonders at home. It can do wonders at school, in whatever walk of life. Because bhakti always comes with Shakti. And a bhakta is confident always. Why? Because he knows that Bhagavan is always with him, protecting him. That unflinching, unwavering bhakti always gives him what I call the God confidence, not self-confidence anymore. So his confidence of this bhakta is not anymore on his self alone, but on Bhagavan. Therefore, his confidence can be termed God confidence, because he now has access to magical powers. That is why bhakti makes an ordinary Hanuman into an extraordinary Hanuman, an ordinary monkey into an extraordinary Hanuman. When there is bhakti, one becomes fearless. And therefore, the next life lesson that we learn from the triumphant trio is life lesson C. Courage. Courage. To be courageous in life. Sambhramat tyajatamyesha sarvaihi valikrite mahan malayosham girivaro bhayam na iha asti valinaha. This is how, this is the opening dialogue, if you were to call, of Hanuman. This is how Hanuman is introduced as the hero in Kishkinda Kanda. Valmiki reserves a very special introduction for Hanuman, something which he has not given to anybody else. Sugriva is in a state of shock. He is overcome with fear. He's prancing all over. He mistakes Rama and Lakshmana approaching as representatives of Vali. Hanuman, the fearless Hanuman, instills courage in Sugriva. He says, Sambhramat tyajatam, hey Sugriva, discard, ward off this perplexity, this bewilderment. Why are you worried? Why is your mind wandering all over? Why is it riddled with fears of the unknown? We do not know the future, neither does our mind. Its fears do not forecast the future. So therefore, he Sugriva, Sambhramat tyajatam, bhayam na iha asti valinaha. He says, Vali cannot step his foot on the Rishyamukha Parvata. You very well know this because of Matanga's curse. And in spite of knowing that, you are ridden with fear, hey Sugriva, and this is exactly what fear can do for you. Sambhramat tyajatamyesha sarvaihi valikrite mahan malayoyam girivaro bhayam na iha asti valinaha. Courage instilled by Bhagavan, by Hanuman to Sugriva. And he says, Aho shaka murgatvam te yaktam yeva plavangavam laguchittataya atmanam nastapayasi yomatau. Laguchittataya atmanam. Because of fear, you're not able to think properly. The weakness in your mind is because of your fear, hey Sugriva. You have to overcome your fear. This is what Hanuman teaches us. When we learn to live in Rama's presence, fear may still come, but it can never overcome us. Hanuman teaches us this very important life lesson. When we learn to live in Rama's presence, fear may still come, but it can never overcome us. And a mind without fear is firm and determined. And therefore, the next life lesson that we can learn from the triumphant trio is a life lesson D, determination, firmness of purpose. Firmness of purpose, determination. Garuda, Adisesha, Hanumanta teach us that the purpose of life is to be purposeful instruments of Bhagavan. There's only one purpose. There's only one purpose, and that is to do his work, to be his instrument, and to be completely aligned to him. The free will that is given is for only one purpose, to discover that our will has to be necessarily aligned to his will. That is the ultimate purpose of this life. Lakshmana, the Adisesha Avatara, when he was speaking to Rama, convincing him that he too should accompany him, Lakshmana says, Kurushvama manucharan vaidharmyam neha vidyate. Hey Rama, vaidharmyam neha vidyate. Kurushvama manucharan. Let me be your attendant, your servant, Hey Rama. Kritartoham bhavishyami tavacharta prakalpate. This is my dharma and your dharma to Rama. Your dharma is to be my master. And my dharma is to serve you all the time. That is my dharma. It is my dharma. It is my purpose in life to be of service to you all the time. Give me that opportunity. Do not take away the opportunity for me to fulfill the purpose of my life. And Lakshmana goes on to say, he looks at Rama and says, Hey Rama, Dhanuradaya Sasharam Khanitra Pitakadhara. Dhanuradara, I shall carry the bow and arrows, and I shall also carry spade and a basket, he says. Agratatte Gamishyami Panthanam Anudarshayan. Hey Rama, carrying a spade and a basket with bow and arrow, I shall walk in front of you in the forest and ensure that no thorns, no stones can harm you, Hey Rama. Give me that opportunity to serve you. Servant leadership demonstrated by Adisesha Avatara Lakshmana. Demonstrating what is the purpose of life. The determination, the firmness of purpose is to be aligned with Bhagavan. And when we align with him and when we bring him to the center of our lives, we become emotionally intelligent. And therefore, the next life lesson to learn from the triumphant trio is life lesson E, emotional intelligence. Again, Hanuman shows us the way. In Uttarakanda, Hanuman looks at Rama and he says, Hey Rama, Sneho me paramo rajan tvainityam pratishtitaha bhaktischa niyata veera bhavo nanyatra gacchati, he says. Sneho me paramo rajan tvainityam pratishtitaha bhaktischa niyata veera bhavo nanyatra gacchati. Hey Rama, my mind is firmly planted, firmly fixed on your lotus feet. If that is the case, how can it wander anywhere else? Where else can it go? What else do I need when I already have you? Now, Hanuman teaches us one very important lesson. It is not just enough that we make an offering to Bhagavan. It is not just enough that we make offerings to Bhagavan. We have to become the offering to him. And this is what Hanuman teaches us. And when the mind is completely surrendered to him, fixed, when Rama is installed in one's mind, there is no room for any afflictions, selfishness, egotism, jealousy, hatred, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, madamatsarias. There is no room for any impurities in the mind. And such a mind becomes balanced such a mind becomes even. One becomes emotionally intelligent. Emotional intelligence is nothing but complete freedom from all mental afflictions. No wonder when we pray to Hanuman, we look at him and say, Hey Hanuman, Manojavam, Maruta Tulya Vegam, Jitendriyam, Buddhimatam Varishtam, Vatatmajam, Manara Yudha Mukhyam, Sri Ramadutam, Sirasa Namami. He is the one who has conquered his senses. He is the one who has conquered his mind. He is the very embodiment of emotional intelligence. That is the reason why we prostrate to him, so that our monkey-like mind can be transformed to Hanuman-like. But for a true bhakta, rooted in servitude, there can still be one fear. Even for a bhakta, there can be one fear. I call this fear, quote unquote, healthy fear. What is this healthy fear? Recognition of one's incapability, recognition of one's helplessness to surmount the challenges, the obstacles that come in the way of God attainment. When such a fear knocks on the door, faith must answer. And therefore, the next life lesson that we can learn from the triumphant trio is life lesson F, faith. In Balakanda, Valmiki writes, Balyat Prabhutti Susnigdho Lakshmano Lakshmivardhanaha Ramasya Lokaramasya Bratruhu Jeshtasya Nityashaha. Lakshmana is, he says, Lakshmana is ever agreeable to Rama. For Lakshmana, Rama's vak is Vedavak. Again, Lakshmana is the very embodiment of supreme faith in Rama. And we also see this supreme faith being demonstrated, that was demonstrated by Hanuman. The supreme faith. It is Hanuman's faith in Rama that transformed him with superhuman capabilities. It is Adisesha's faith in Bhagavan that made him supremely skillful. It is Garuda's faith that transformed him to fly high, upholding dharma all the time. Therefore, faith is fundamental, is the foundation for bhakti. And it is enough to pray for faith. One need not pray for success. It is enough that one prays for faith. So what we see here is we can continue to go on. We have looked at A, B, C, D, E, F. A, attitude of servitude. B, bhakti. C, courage, fearlessness. D, determination, firmness of purpose. E, emotional intelligence. F, faith. We can go on with more life lessons, even up to Z and even beyond. Because three supreme bhaktas have so much to teach us. But for now, we shall conclude here. Ananta pratamam rupam Lakshmanascha tatah paraha Balabhadram tritiyastu Kalau Ramanujasmritaha Namah Pannaganadhaya Vaikuntha Vashavarthine Shruti Sindhu Sudhotpada Mandaraya Garutmate Yatra Yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Kritamastakanjalim Bhashpavari Paripurna Lochanam Marutim Namata Rakshasantakam. Prostrations to Garutman, prostrations to Ananta, prostrations to Hanumanta, Garutmanta, Ananta, Hanumanta. There is no anta to their glories. we can continue to celebrate their glories, relish their glories by studying their life and times through our Shastras, the Vedas, the Itihasas and Puranas. But once again, if there is one word, if there's one word that we can learn from them, that embodies, that is the very essence of success, the mantra for success, that is that one 5-letter word, serve, S-E-R-V-E. Contemplating on the supreme servitude of these 3 glorious servants of Bhagavan, let us conclude today's session on this topic of the triumphant triumph. Sarvam Sri Krishnarpanamastu.